Hey guys, welcome back to another video. Today we're going to be playing as Germany in the Second Great War. We're going to be forming the German Utopian State. Now this one was a suggested video, so thank you for the suggestion. I haven't done a suggested video in a while, so it's probably a good thing. But yeah, no. So I immediately start this one off by Occupy Malmedy 2, like that. It's the worst one out of all of them because they hate you the most for that one, but whatever. I don't know what that one is, but whatever. Okay, so we start off pretty strong. Take a province from Belgium, and then take a province from, take Luxembourg over as well. And then we basically overrun Belgium right afterwards and send the remaining to the Congo. And of course, I remember I did this last time when I was playing the Empire of the Black Sun. But this time, you see, this time I remembered what happened last time, which was that we lost our army because we didn't have a port. So I built a port this time. I remembered, okay? I remember from last time, and I built a port this time. So, yeah, and then okay. So I invaded the Congo just like the last time. Thing is, Belgium, since they don't have since they haven't assimilated territories, and since it's mainly Congolese, population here, they really don't fight back once you get to the Congo. So once we did that, we took all these provinces, and then we took the provinces over in the Congo too. And okay, we slowly took them, but yeah. And then took the main, important ones, right? I focused on the important ones mainly because, that would give us the best value. And then once that happened, I once again realized that we were stranded. So that whole port thing was kind of for nothing. But then we did manage to send 985 people back, so like, hooray, I guess. And moving on, Spain was in a civil war, that's how it is. So they were doing that, and then I had to disband all these people, unfortunately. Italy, meanwhile, had conquered Ethiopia, so that was good, because, they're on my side, so that's pretty good. And then afterwards, I started surrounding the Netherlands, preparing to invade. Meanwhile, I chose the warmongers path, so I guess that's also pretty good for me. And they were at war with the Dutch East Indies, which gave me the perfect opportunity to just, no problemo, just invade them. Meanwhile, over on the other side of things, Poland was being invaded by the Soviet Union, and then I was just like, nah, they can't be the only ones getting in on that shit. So I was like, hey, you know what, let's get to it. But then I realized France and Britain would be, on me if I did, so I kind of held back on that. I took over the Netherlands and then sent people down to Austria to take them over. And, I left Poland alone mainly because it would mean war with France and Britain, and that was something I didn't really want. Meanwhile, I got the choice to reinforce the army, and which I did. And then since they were literally all just like readying up for an invasion of Poland, by the way. And then I realized, okay, you know what? Instead of that, I can just use these guys for an invasion of the Czech Republic, Czechoslovakia instead, which I then proceeded to do. So kind of. I don't know, I guess the game expected me to just invade Poland, but I guess I did something different here. Played it smarter. And we surrounded Prague pretty soon. And of course I sent my troops in on it from all sides, so it was a complete all-side attack. They managed to break out of Prague though, surprisingly, which forced me to send some troops back to stop them, but after a while they quickly lost their forces. And then I reached a non-aggression pact with the allies, but by then we didn't really need that because Poland was pretty much dead, so it didn't matter. And then afterwards I sent all my troops to Austria, and funny enough, they were socialist. Yeah, they were socialists, so hell, more of a reason for me, considering I was literally Nazi Germany, to just invade them. So they were getting invaded, and they completely got squashed. Meanwhile, Greece declared war. Italy and Greece were at war or something. So Italy called me for the war, and I was just like, yeah, sure, let's go. Because why not? It doesn't matter. They really can't do anything. Meanwhile, Romania... Okay, here's the thing about this game, right? It's kind of weird, but Romania is fascist, but at the same time part of the Warsaw Pact. I know, it's weird, bro. It's like the different focus trees colliding. Oh, and and the thing about Germany in this, when you're playing this mod as Germany, is that every single event Like literally every single event, I kid you not, every single event in this game just stacks your army with like tons of men, and it's insane. But then okay, then afterwards I got some of the newly recruited people, and then sent them over to invade Yugoslavia because I was just like, yeah, you know what, why not? It's a little adventure. And after that, it was pretty smooth sailing. We were invading pretty quickly along with the Italians, and I had to actually split up my forces quite a lot during this attack. And so, funny enough, 4,000 troops of mine were just like in the back for some reason. I don't know what they were doing there, but yeah, they were in the back. Meanwhile, Italy had largely just ignored it. I was now the one mainly invading. So, yeah, that's that. And then we managed to seize most of Yugoslavia, or not seize, just take over most of Yugoslavia. And then I was essentially conquering territory for the Italians, by the way, at that point. So then, okay, so we were taking a lot of territory, and all of a sudden the Swiss attack us. So, again, it's crazy. And at this point, I'm spending so much on the military and, like, recruitment and stuff that I kind of lose my money. Like, I've lost a lot of money, so I can't even recruit that fast. I then proceed to start, taking chunks of Yugoslavia, or at least a huge chunk of Yugoslavia, and of course the northern parts as well. And we could have taken it all, but then for some reason it didn't let me take the parts, so I just gave part of it to gave one part to Italy, and then just left Yugoslavia as just one single province. I then proceeded to collect up my forces in that region, and then I sent some troops all the way from the Netherlands to Crete, basically doing the invasion of Crete all over again. Meanwhile, I looked over at Spain. I don't know what was going on in Spain, bro. It was every time there's just some whack civil war. But yeah, no. Meanwhile, I was now getting to invade Switzerland finally. We're the Nazis. I guess we could just say we're recovering our gold or something. And I was able to take it all over pretty quickly. And Switzerland was just left alive as one province. So, sucks for them. And meanwhile, then all of a sudden, the Soviets attack. And I'm just like, holy shit. Soviet Union and Romania. Now the good thing was that because of the events, I had gotten troops in East Prussia to defend my territories over there, but unfortunately, most of Germany was just left completely open. So I tried to make a peace deal for all my lands, which I hoped would work. But to no avail, that would not work. And then I started taking Romanian lands, but the Soviets started just taking insane amounts of territory from me. Meanwhile, over on the other side of things, I realized that the Yugoslav territories that I just conquered were now at risk to being conquered themselves. So I created Serbia as like a puppet government in Serbia to basically defend my borders. And of course, the technique worked because then I was able to keep them safe. Meanwhile, I sent the troops that had just finished invading Yugoslavia to invade Romania. So I mean, imagine that though. Like, imagine being a German troop, and then being like just having invaded Yugoslavia, and then being told you gotta go invade Romania now, bro. Imagine that. All right. Anyways, I was basically defending for my life. I was defending for my life against the Soviet Union. They had already, I was unprepared for this, right? They had already made it to Vienna. Right? They'd already made it to Vienna, and they were on the literal doorstep of Berlin. But luckily, I managed to push them back and keep them away from it. Keep them away from the capital. And meanwhile, in the southern parts in Austria, I was able to somewhat push them back, actually. I mean, I had more forces in Austria and East Prussia than I did in central Germany, for example. Meanwhile, over on the other side of things, I tried to once again do another peace deal, right? This one, I don't know how, but still didn't work. Meanwhile, on the other side of things, I started pushing back. I started invading Romania. And for some reason, even after I'd invaded Czechoslovakia, I got the Sudetenland Germans uh, event. I don't know what. Okay, so the events. Because technically, we'd already started a war with the Soviet Union, and it's literally 1938. Like, it's not even World War II yet. Yeah. So then, that was there. Yeah. So then, moving on. Okay, the thing is, I had in a couple spots invaded in Romania. I'd actually taken a couple provinces, interestingly enough. And the Romanians really didn't do anything about it because I assume now that they were supporting the Soviets in their invasion of Germany. So if I could just hold off long enough in here, I would be able to somewhat keep them back. So that's what I kept trying to do. When I say I was defending for my life, I mean I was defending for my life. The Soviet Union, Romania, which would not let up. Like, they would just keep sending unit after unit after units at me. And I had to keep carefully shifting units. Luckily, though, I'd managed to stabilize the front. Like, okay, air quotes stabilize, because this front was very much still active and stuff. But what I mean is, like, I was able to go from, being just at the gates of Berlin to, pushing them back. That too in a war that was unprepared. I wasn't really ready for this war. But then I found that I had some extra movement points, and I decided to use them to, push into Romania more. That would be my strategy, actually. So to weaken Romania and then work my way from there. And Romania did try to counterattack, but their counterattacks were weak, and I was able to literally seize Bucharest without much of an issue. And then I proceeded to then make a peace deal with, as much territory as I could get, taking as much territory as possible. And then I also recruited some more, just to make sure that, just in case they said no, like they previously had, right? Yeah. Okay. And then they did say no, so what can I do? But then here's the thing. That was going great, but because of my, counter invasion through Romania, I was able to basically now, threaten them from the underside, or, as I guess Churchill would have likely called it, the soft underbelly, of in this case, the commenter. So now I was pushing the Soviet Union back and somehow conquering Romania on the side as well. All in just span of just a couple turns. And I looked around me and I realized, oh shit, okay, so the assimilation process in Yugoslavia has not been done whatsoever. It's been just that's the thing. Because of all these wars, I was forced to neglect that completely. So, yeah, that was a glaring issue too. Plus the issue of just in this war just being completely grinding as a war. And and of course my troops were largely depleted now, and the Soviets would most likely be pushing back very soon. So what I then decided to do, I looked around, I thought about it, and I'm like, maybe I should get the nearby nations to go to war with the Soviet Union. I thought maybe that's a good idea. And I thought, you know what, maybe later, but I think I look around and then I realize, yeah, sure. I finally decide on doing it. So I get Turkey to go to war with the Soviet Union. And meanwhile, I almost completed the conquest of all of Romania. Okay? Keep in mind, this is with major losses. And so then what I was going to do was I wanted to release Belarus, or I wanted to release some of the Caucasian states and Belarus, for the sole purpose of just weakening the Soviet Union. It wasn't to gain territory. It's just to weaken them in the future war. That was my plan, right? I'm thinking of the long game here. Logically, though, I probably should have just gone for the taking Romania, and which I later did. I decided, okay, maybe it's best to just take territory instead of trying to make the Soviets lose territory. And then this one, even that peace deal didn't work, because these guys just weren't done fighting, which, let me be real, kind of pissed me off. Like, this war took quite a long time. I mean, we're at 15 minutes in the video, and yeah, so this war took quite a long time out of my gameplay. So, yep. But then again, it's one of the bigger wars. This is what makes it interesting. So I sent an annexation ultimatum, and finally they accepted it. Then Italy asked me to join a war with the USA. I was like, you know what? Hell nah, man. You got this on your own, bro. You're fucking fighting the Allies on your own. Not my problem. So then they asked me to join the war. I'm like, I'm not fucking stupid. Like, I just finished a war with the Soviet Union. There is no way I'm like invading them, right? Meanwhile, because of the events and the focus, sorry, not focus, just events, right? World War II, actually no, I can't say World War II. Air quotes, World War II starts. Because I invade Danzig or something like that, I remember. I don't know why, it just gets triggered for me to invade Danzig. I think Poland declared war separately, so not part of World War II. But then, if you look at the date right now, it is 1939. So I think it comes around now, the focus. But then, I'm already at war with France. So what I start doing is I start frantically disbanding units so that I can prevent so that I can increase the money I'm bringing in. Meanwhile, I start rapidly invading France, which actually goes pretty successfully, and I managed to take Paris in a matter of turns, which results in the fall of Paris and the creation of Vichy France. So it's pretty good for me. Meanwhile, I make peace with the rest of the Allies, so now I am now in control of all of Germany and at peace with the Allies, which is a major benefit. So, I mean, I'm pretty sure that's what Germany could have done in World War II, just made peace at this point and then just held it for a while. But see, even though I made peace, I had a metric shit ton of territories that I needed to assimilate still, right? If you look at this map, bro, oh my goodness, the amount of red just hurts my soul. And then, for some reason, the war against Poland starts. I don't know why, but yeah, the war against Poland starts. Meanwhile, the war against Greece ends, and Italy pieces out with Greece, and Italy is now just actually doing pretty well. And then again, dude, the events in this game are just when you play differently, you play ahead of time, the events just don't make sense. You guys just saw that, I'm pretty sure, pact with the Soviets, so I technically just went to war with them, so again, it don't make sense. Then there's the Axis pact, you know how it is. And then World War II starts, apparently, so who knows. Meanwhile, the Soviet Union just collapses? I know, it's weird, but yeah, they just sort of die. And then now they're dying to all the countries around them and stuff. And meanwhile, I decide, hey, you know what? That looks like some free, prime, beautiful real estate. But first, let's kill the Swiss. And then, but then I invade Switzerland, take them out. Then I think I get the option on whether to invade Denmark or not, and I think I just press yes. I think I do that. And I also increase the color brightness of Germany so that I can see the territories better. Because I think that's something I should have done a while ago. But yeah, no. Denmark starts attacking me, so I start sending troops to invade them. Meanwhile, since it's June 1940, I finally get the troops that were, supposed to be used by me, according to the event, how the event would have intended it, to use by me to invade France. But since I'd already invaded France, it's kind of awkward. And so then what I did was the thing was the war with Poland starts because of the event again. So then what I do instead was I use those troops that I got to invade France to surround Hungary for a future invasion. And then meanwhile, I start raising new troops to invade Poland, and now I am once again at war with the Allies. So I look over at France and their colonies, and then I think about, like maybe I could just invade those, and just I don't know, take some, because why not? And I mean, no, not because why not? Because why not? Actually, no, just because it's cool. All right, and then I make peace with Denmark so that I don't have to keep fighting them anymore. And then I also invade the Soviet Union. And see, the reason I do this is because Poland is just occupied territory. They didn't really annex it all. They just sort of took territory from the Soviet Union. So I attacked Danzig in Poland as well. And this turns out to be a pretty great decision, actually, because now I can just advance and invade unimpeded. Meanwhile, I started raising an army in the Netherlands too. And I forgot what exactly I raised them for, but yeah. I gathered them up, I bunched them up. Meanwhile, on the other side of things, I'm just going to town. Not going to town. I'm getting the whole city. Not yeah, no. Going to town doesn't simplify it enough. Actually, no. Going to town doesn't embody it. I was going to the whole city with my invasion of Poland and like their occupied territories. Because it made it super easy. Like I could just go and take all the territory I wanted, and it was great. Meanwhile, I think a bunch of French troops just attacked me. What? Okay. Anyways, point is, the invasion of Poland, or invasion of the Soviet Union. I'm just gonna call it the invasion of the Soviet Union because that's what it was. Then I managed to pretty much take all the territories I needed. In fact, so I even took extra. Funny enough. So yeah, no, that was going just amazing actually, because now I could just invade the Soviet Union without having to invade the Soviet Union. Simply put. Meanwhile, with the capture of Kiev and all, I was, I think the game events started to trigger where they just started giving me troops. I mean, that's what this game though. Like that's the thing about this mod, right? Um, the events for Germany are like just how do I put this? Stacking Germany with troops. That's what it really is. And like that sounds. I mean, okay, look, that's really good because it's amazing, right? You can like play as Germany and just absolutely fucking kick ass. But at the same time, yeah, shit like this happens also. Right here, the Soviet Union got back like Poland for some reason. I don't know why. I don't know why, but they got back Poland. Like because I guess it was a splitting up of Poland, right? They got this territory for some reason, and then I don't know. I had to reconquer it myself. It's pretty awkward, honestly. And then not only that, they got like several thousand people on there too. It's always just like, holy shit, what? And then meanwhile, Yugoslavia starts attacking me from the south. I'm like, yo, this is crazy, man. What? And I start raising armies in Poland and all. But then, unfortunately, I don't have enough. Meanwhile, I start like invading Poland extra faster while diverting troops to attack the Soviets. Meanwhile, the Soviets are literally the biggest threat to me. But luckily, I'm able to attack from the south, and I have enough people in like the immediate area to counter their forces. Right? All it took for me was a little while to just mobilize my troops. Meanwhile, I completely annex Hungary because I mean that's all I need. I mean I need them for my required territories, and so I invade Hungary. Meanwhile, I continue just my free roaming walk. No, it's not invasion. It's just a walk. My walk through the Poland. Meanwhile, Soviets continue to attack, but I start basically pushing them back at this point. And and then their territories start getting split up because of it, right? Like they start losing territory to me. Meanwhile, on the other side of things, Yugoslavia starts losing territory, Norway starts losing territory, everybody's losing territory to the German Empire. Ah, shit. Sorry. Anyways, yes, we're going crazy. Okay, no, but as I was saying, I was talking about this earlier, but like in this game, right, the mod, the like Germany just gets like a shit ton of soldiers every single like on so many of the events, but that's good. At the same time, Like, you know, this wasn't the first time that I tried playing as Germany, right, to form the German Utopian State. This was the what you guys are watching here is actually the second gameplay. See, the first gameplay I played for about 108 minutes. Okay, that's what it said on the timer. I remember. I think I remember sending a pic of this to the Discord. I think I did. Anyways, 108 minutes I spent playing, and I had to eventually delete all of it because I couldn't form like the German Utopian State, specifically because I ran out of money. So yeah, that kind of messed me up too. All right, and also as you guys can see here, Reichskommissary Ukraine got formed, and that happened to me in the previous gameplay as well, and that kind of pissed me off because like it messed me up while I was invading the Soviet Union, and so that's why this time I wasted no time in just I didn't waste a single second in just annexing the whole thing, as immediately as the what do you call immediately after the focus or like the event formed it. So yeah, I didn't waste any time because of that. Meanwhile, I'd largely conquered the Soviet Union and chased them out. Meanwhile, I've now taken most if not all the territory I needed, and now I wanted to release Belarus out. So I basically took the territory of Belarus and then prepared to release them as a new nation and all. And then I finally made a peace, and just like that, I made peace with the Soviet Union. And so I wanted to re-release Belarus, and just to make sure I gave them that one province that I didn't need as well, because why not? So now I had a nice puppet state to the east as well. And now I was free to use that massive army I had to just invade Estonia. And I waited for them to just push the Soviets out so I can invade. And then, soon after, I just took what I needed and left because I didn't want to waste any time. Meanwhile, I wondered what the other province was, and turns out it was Latvia. So I started invading Latvia immediately afterwards. And then a bunch of countries declared war on me, but I really didn't care, right? I think it's just like small Greece and Oman. So I sent a bunch of people to invade Greece. And actually a bunch of people. When I mean a bunch, I mean a lot. But yes, then the Axis versus the Allies, which was basically just France and Poland at this point. I was just like, yeah, you know what? Time to finish this war. And that war, though, I don't think they accepted. Anyway, they did. They did accept the peace deal. But that happened. Meanwhile, I was off invading Greece with like 5,000 people. And then all of a sudden, the event for Operation Barbarossa shows up. And I'm just like, ah, shit, what am I supposed to do with all of these guys now? They're gonna bankrupt my entire country. And so, this is what happened last time, right? I was playing for 108 minutes. And then what happened was the game put so many troops into my army that I got bankrupted and went into, I remember, 8 million like coins in debt. That's right, gentlemen, 8 million coins in debt. I went that deep specifically because they gave me just the absolute shit ton of like troops. So as you can see there, that's why I wasted no time in disbanding them all. Look, it hurt my soul to do that. Let me be real, it hurts my soul to just disband that many troops, but it had to be done, or else I would not I would not be able to play. I'd lose this game. So yeah, and then I conquered all of Greece, and then I decided, you know what? I'll just release them as a puppet state, because why not? Puppet governments are cool. Meanwhile. I was now, I think, #1 great power in the world, and now I had to like both gain territory and reorganize my territory. So that was there as a priority issue. And meanwhile, Oman just got completely conquered right in front of us. And also, you see, remember those guys we got for Operation Barbarossa, but we'd already done Operation Barbarossa by this point? Well, you see, they were all like, I sent a bunch of, I didn't disband every single one, right? So I sent a whole bunch of them to Mexico, not really hoping to like win anything per se. I just sent them so they could just go there to die, because I really didn't care if they lived or died or not. Like, Mexico, let me be real. Mexico, did they really want to conquer Mexico? No, not really. But yeah, just like that. So they made a useful, I could just like go, they can just die. I mean, if they do conquer Mexico, I get Mexico. GG's. It's like that. So yeah. Meanwhile, yeah, no, then they all died. And so I let them, I just decided, you know what? I just demand war reparations from Mexico and that's it. I leave. So yeah. That was that adventure of Germany where we lost 40 something thousand men for a pointless war. And so afterwards, oh yeah, and Great Britain went fascist. So that's there too. Yes. Meanwhile, Vichy France, I demanded annexation, and then I got them to get annexed. Meanwhile, I re-released Algeria, so I gave them back Algeria, and then Vichy France, I decided to re-release as well. Except I needed to ensure that I got my required territories back. So I needed to be very careful about this, and so luckily I did. I was very careful, and I got Vichy France back with all the territories I needed. And meanwhile, the rest of the territories, I decided to just give it to them. Give it to them as I guess you could say compensation for me taking their land as well. And for some reason, they brought different countries in the Axis tried to get me to war with Great Britain, but I didn't want to go to war with Great Britain because honestly, they were pretty good allies of mine, so I just didn't want to go to war. But yeah, no, I left that province alone for France to basically just colonize, or Vichy France to basically just colonize. Meanwhile, I started moving all of my troops to prepare for an invasion of Italy because let me be real. I mean, I had to take provinces in the northern part of Italy, so what needed to be done had to be done, So yeah, and meanwhile, I had to also send troops to the southern territories in the Balkans because that also needed to be defended. So yeah, I was planning to invade from multiple sides. Meanwhile, Portugal also ended up at war with the Axis. And so I thought about it and I just said, yeah, you know what, screw it. This decision right here, you'll see how that impacted us later. But for now, it was just meant to be oh yeah, it's a nice little war, we're invading Portugal, ooh la la. Oh, how I was so wrong. So I sent the troops all the way into Portugal, thinking, oh yeah, it's going to be an easy one. Meanwhile, I sent Spain an ultimatum saying we'll invade, or no, we'll have military access. And then that allowed us to invade Portugal. And I thought, oh, this is going to be an easy win. After a while, though, I realized that Portugal was on the other side of Europe, as in they were now conquering through France into Germany, and they had thousands upon thousands of people. Now, I probably should have just, conquered them right here, actually. I probably should have. And see, what ended up happening was once I, made it and I conquered and I expanded all across Portugal, right? These guys had somehow managed to take over parts of Vichy French Algeria somehow. And my invasion force that was initially quite strong had lost steam. And so then I soon began to, kept trying to push, right? And I kept trying to push upward into Barcelona and northern Spain. And then all of a sudden I lost those guys. And I tried to make peace. But then, I tried, right? I tried to take some territory around there. But nope. They did not make peace. Even though Portugal was, dying, they still would not make peace. And that pissed me off. But what to do? So then I honestly, but here's the thing though. At this point, I was winning against Portugal, right? So I wasn't afraid. And I wasn't oh, we need to completely focus on this, blah, blah, blah. So I was just you know what? I can afford to do this. And then I just kicked Italy off the axis and then started invading them. Because in my head, I was just okay, we've been playing for quite a long time now. I can't waste time. And so I start my full-blown, full-scale invasion into Italy. And believe me, I probably could have just invaded Portugal with the sheer amount of troops that I had right here. But I decided to just invade Italy because that's what I needed. And I thing was Portugal, let me be real, Portugal was just like a side campaign for me, like in this game at least. So it really didn't like I did not really focus too much on conquering Portugal. Meanwhile, Portugal was now just completely destroying Vichy France somehow. I don't know how, bro. I think they just went all in on Vichy France. But yes, they started taking Vichy France, so I had to start bailing Vichy France out with my units. Meanwhile, Italy was getting invaded from the north by me, and I had to keep building troops along the Vichy French border to protect myself. And meanwhile, I basically defeated Albania. I destroyed Albania and the Italian holdings in the Balkans. And as for Italy, northern Italy itself, I was invading along with the Allies, so that was there. And like the awkward thing was that I think Italy still had access to France, or were they trapped or something? I don't know what happened to them. But point is, Italy. Thing is, remember how Italy had declared war on the Allies earlier on in the game? Well, yeah, no. Now I was finally meeting the Allies at the borders of Rome, and I really wanted to take Rome for myself actually, but unfortunately, I think here I was. Oh, wait, I was. No, I was not able to take it. Right. So while I'm there over there invading Italy, Portugal is still at war, and I try to take a large chunk out of Portugal, but it doesn't work. And they invade through Lisbon. Just so they now begin liberating their country through Lisbon, and that's a problem for me because now I need to like defend against that. But I still don't care that much, so I just basically take um, Italy from the Greeks. I take Albania, and I take a whole whole chunk. I take all the well, I basically take all the Italian territories that I'd conquered actually. Meanwhile, over in Portugal, shit was just things are just going as usual. Let's be real, as they usually do in Portugal. Meanwhile, I tried to re-release Yugoslavia, and I thought about it, but I decided, you know what, Croatia it is. And so I went all the way down, and then I chose shit, my throat. I went ahead and I thought about what to choose, right? I didn't choose Croatia yet. I chose Albania, re-released them as a fascist government. I chose Greece and gave back Greek territory to them. Gave back the Greek territory that the Italians took away, so, as to strengthen my puppet state. Then what I did was I took the Macedonian territory. I think, yeah, wait, hold up. Wait, I do it later, but I think I took the Macedonian territory over in Macedon, right? The North Macedonia. I don't know what North Macedonia territory, right? I give some territory back to Serbia, and I give some territory to Bulgaria as well. So I basically what I do is I just divide up the conquest from Italy between the nations that are around here, and then I go and get Croatia, or in this case the Croatian Republic of Bosnia, Bosnia, right? Whatever. And then I basically re-release them to now just get the territories right. And see, that's the thing. I start re-releasing these guys because I can afford to get the territories right. And so I try to release Italy, but then they're a monarchy now, so I try to get pissed at them and then annex them. You see why, by the way. What I wanted to do was annex them and then re-release them as a fascist state. But the thing is, the fascist Italy of this game wasn't dead. They were, as you can see, on Sardinia. That was them. So because of that, I couldn't just annex the monarchy and then make it a fascist dictatorship. So what I did, oh yeah, and by the way, Bulgaria somehow ended up at war with the Allies. So, well, yeah, that's their problem now. And meanwhile, I tried again, but it wouldn't work. The Italian monarchy stayed. So I decided, what could I do? Could I take out Mussolini? But no, I was at a peace treaty with him, so I couldn't just invade him either. So what I did instead was I was like, you know what? I'll settle for the Greek monarchist puppet state. And so I took whatever territory I needed, and then I gave them the territories I didn't. And after that, so now my southern front was completely secure, and all I needed now was to re-release Romania. But before I did that, I of course I remembered Portugal, which, as you all have probably noticed, had been just absolutely reconquering their country. Well, now I was here to put a stop to that, because I had all those free troops from from the invasion of Italy, and so I I started sending them over, and then now I had about 60,000 troops in Portugal. So you know how it is. I probably, again, Portugal managed to survive longer than Italy only because I've completely focused on Italy, and ignored Portugal. That's like the only reason that they have survived this long. So yeah, I started invading Portugal from all sides, right? They were somehow, for some reason, still in France. Like, again, I don't know what was going on with the Vichy French defense. Like, I don't know, bro. Their defense was just like just gone. But yeah, no, my invasion of Portugal though was going pretty well, and I found a bunch of guys, took a bunch of guys in Norway and sent them all the way to East Timor, which I knew was a Portuguese territory. Even though I hadn't discovered it yet, but I knew it was a Portuguese territory because I wanted to specifically conquer Portugal completely so that they'd never, try for a peace deal again or something. And I want to make sure that was the case. So then I realized, okay, Portugal really is just gonna, I don't know. I conquered all of the Iberian Peninsula, at least not all of Portuguese Iberia or Iberian Portugal. What is the term to use? Whatever, doesn't matter. So after a while, I just started sending troops out all the way to, invade the remote Portuguese islands that I missed. Again, I wanted to completely conquer Portugal here, right? And I realized that over in the north, Portugal could once again probably retake territory, which they started doing again. So I was like, no, not again, not happening again. And I realized, okay, they started taking territory in France still. Again, it was absolutely insane. Again, I think Portugal was more frustrating of an opponent than Italy. They managed. Look what they did to France. Oh my goodness. Okay, they took over France so fast. Nah, man. France was supposed to be a buffer. I don't know what was going on, but yes. And so then I sent Portugal to invade, the northern African provinces that. Sorry, not Portugal. I sent my troops to invade the northern African provinces that Portugal took. Meanwhile, over in France, I was liberating them. I took East Timor as well. The troops finally got there. And after that, I realized, okay, Gambia was left, so I sent some troops to Gambia. Not Gambia. I forgot the country's name. But yes, I started taking troops in North Africa. Again, the territories in North Africa were being taken. Somehow they were still going in Europe. I don't know what they were doing. They made it to Switzerland. I have no idea what their aim was, but whatever. I now took them out completely in Europe. And then afterwards, I looked around. I searched for where Portugal could be, and I found the last island that they could. And I sent 6,000 people just to take it out. And then, finally, took over Portugal. And then also Spain declared war on us and something for a while, but then I wondered where Spain even was. And then I don't know. I tried looking for them. Meanwhile, Portugal, I decided to finally just annex the whole thing. Completely just annex the whole thing. And I also even annexed Spain. The Spanish territories that I saw there. And all of their Spanish territories, which worked, which I did. And then I tried to release the fascist Spain, but I realized that the fascist Spain was still out there. That's the one that was at war with me. And I tried looking around for them. I'm like, I'm gonna need to find them if I want to re-release a fascist Spain in Iberia. And so I looked around. I'm like, where are these guys? And it took me a while to actually search. It took me a while of searching actually, because I legitimately wasn't sure, but I finally found them. They were off here on these small, remote ass islands. So I quickly sent a group of my forces to invade and then take them over. And finally, they got conquered. And then then a bunch of islands revolted over here, so I just took them out. And then finally, I finally re-released Spain and released them as a nation. And then I also released Portugal as a nation. Actually, no, I planned to, but I didn't want to just release the same Portugal that I did before. I think no, wait, no. It was that I couldn't find Portugal because I think, yeah, they managed to get territory. So what I did instead was I took monarchy Portugal and then re-released them in Portugal's place, you could say. And yeah, no, I gave them back all the Portuguese territory and all, and then just put it Lisbon, and then boom, I released a vassal. So now I had a whole ass chain of vassal states operating, right? And then finally, I also re-released Romania, once again a fascist states, and then finally, I formed the German Utopian State. I'll see you guys next time. Bye bye.